Well, and before we get started talking about the Colorado TCU game, I've got a favor to ask of you. If you like this content, if you think it's interesting, if it's thought-provoking, unusual, maddening, exciting, whatever, if you like this enough to watch this video and other videos that I record, subscribe to my channel and make sure you hit whatever notification bell you got to hit to make sure that you get updates when I upload content. You know, last year at this time, I was getting thousands of views on my videos. This year, it's hundreds. I have no idea why. I don't know what the algorithm's doing or not doing. But same me, you know, it's the same, you know, thing going on here. But for some reason, you know, not getting the same views. So you could really help me out by simply subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell. Now, as it happens, I think you're going to want to stick around for this content this year because I'm going to do some things differently. Last year I strictly talked about Nebraska, didn't branch out into any other teams. And this year I'm going to explore some other teams, and I'm going to do that by engaging with technology. I'm going to use ChatGPT, I started this last night, to analyze games. And for the fun of it, you know, who knows what ChatGPT is going to say about Colorado versus TCU, but if last night's commentary from ChatGPT was any indication, we may be onto something here. I could, if I wanted to, watch videos and read news stories and all that and break down games the way folks like Adam Carricker and Connor Hayden do. They're the best in the business. But I thought, why should I reinvent the wheel? Why not take, and I was actually watching videos at the time, I was reading articles at the time, and I was thinking, why not do this? You know, instead of me reading all these articles and watching all these videos, why don't I take all that commentary, synthesize it through ChatGPT, and then prompt it to write an analysis of a particular game? You know, my belief is that the wisdom of the crowd can be vetted and sussed out by ChatGPT and come up with a usable analysis of the game. That was my thought process going into last night, the first time I tried this. Well, as it happens, well, let me remind you of what ChatGPT said in a summary of the game for last night between Nebraska and Minnesota. By the way, if it's a little windy, I apologize. It's a beautiful day right now. I'm recording outside. It is what it is. ChatGPT said about the Nebraska-Minnesota game, quote, "The stage is set for a grueling, intensely fought showdown. A synthesis of various score predictions utilizing a wisdom of the crowd approach suggests a tight contest favoring Minnesota with a final score projection Minnesota winning by 3 points, 23-20. The final score was 13-10, still a 3-point victory or margin. And if you watch the game, it was absolutely a tight contest. And listen to this, ChatGPT wrote at the end, expect a thrilling, nail-biting spectacle that could very well set the trajectory for each team's respective seasons. And I have to tell you that last night, it was absolutely thrilling and nail-biting all the way down to the last second. And I think it does change the course of both of these teams' seasons dramatically. If Nebraska wins that game, Nebraska wins one of the games they're not supposed to win, which I believed would have set them on the course to 9-3. Now, as a side note, I may be revising my 9-3 prediction. Well, that was the upper end of my prediction, but I may be even revising my lower end of the prediction based on what happens in the Colorado TCU game, which takes me to the specific topic of this video, DonGPT, Colorado versus TCU. Now, you know, it's official when I bring out the envelope. I probably went through 20 or 30, at least 20 different articles and videos talking about or predicting today's game, and all of them, or tomorrow's game, excuse me, and all of them within the last 24 hours. So this is all information that ChatGPT has learned from and has provided the following commentary that I'm going to read to you right now. Oh, before I get into the commentary that ChatGPT's got, I'm going to give you my thumbnail sketch of what I think is most likely going to happen. I've seen a lot of hype around Colorado, and in full disclosure, I wanted Deion Sanders to coach Nebraska. I felt like as far as a coach, a manager of young men. I thought that Deion would have been a great addition to Nebraska's coaching staff. So I'm a little biased towards Deion in that way. However, ChatGPT isn't going to have that bias. So here we begin right now. Oh, sorry, back up. My thoughts on the game are that there's a lot of hype behind Colorado. They're going to have to win with speed, trick plays, gadgetry, things like that. They can't grind it out. That's not what they're built for. But as good and as fast as they may be, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that to go from arguably one of the worst records, maybe the worst record in Colorado history, I don't know, 1-11 is terrible, and going from a team that's an afterthought that no one cares about, to then taking on in your first game a team which had arguably its best season, or one of its best seasons of all time last year, and isn't coming back, not expected to be terrible this year. It's a tall order. I don't care who the teams are, who the coaches are, who the players are, to reverse both of those trends game number one. So as much as I like Deion, as much as I think that there's a lot of excitement behind the game, I'd have to say if it's a slugfest, they'll lose, maybe get blanked in a slugfest. I mean, it's going to have to be some sort of shootout of some sort. They're going to have a lot of passing. Colorado will, that's what I feel. And no matter what they do, I don't think they're going to catch up to TCU by the end. I think the score will be a little bit farther apart than the Nebraska-Minnesota score was. But it'll be fun to watch, but in the end, I just don't think Colorado can turn it around in the same game that TCU is going to fall apart, game number one. That's just my feeling. I'm picking TCU. All right, ChatGPT, or DonGPT, has this to say. Keys to victory for both teams. Colorado. Quick cohesion. The Buffaloes must quickly gel as a team, integrating a large number of transfer players and adapting to a new offensive coordinator's fast-paced scheme. Exploiting playmakers. Utilizing the talents of quarterback Shedeur Sanders and versatile playmakers Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn Jr., and Xavier Weaver to put pressure on TCU's defense. Next, protecting Sanders. Strengthen the offensive line to provide Shedeur Sanders with time in the pocket and create opportunities for the running game. Now, for some reason, ChatGPT is looking at the running game. I'm not really seeing it. But as far as the offensive line is concerned, again, that's a tall order. And Colorado's offensive line last year was terrible. And strengthening it is a mild understatement. Next, defensive resurgence. Defensive coordinator Charles Kelly's new system and the influx of transfer players should help address defensive vulnerabilities from last season. I'm not getting a lot out of that because that's pretty obvious. I mean, Deion came in, or Coach Prime, and just revamped the whole team. So to argue that transfer players should help address vulnerabilities, well, you'd hope so if you're Colorado. Next, secondary dominance. Rely on the talented secondary led by Travis Hunter and Miles Slusher to disrupt TCU's passing attack and create turnovers. Okay, well, if those are the keys that DonGPT is looking for Colorado, I think those are, I mean, that's real, but I don't think Colorado can, I mean, I just don't see how Colorado has all of those things happen in this game. It may be the keys to how they win, but I don't see that key turning the ignition on a car that's going to win this game. Okay, TCU, smooth transitions. Quarterback Chandler Morris and offensive coordinator Kendall Briles must establish a seamless connection to exploit Colorado's defensive weaknesses. Well, that's funny because DonGPT was just talking about strengthening the defense. So here, the AI is recognizing that Colorado's probably going to have a weak defense. A defense, yeah, they'll have to shore up, but recognizing that it is weak. Next, dynamic offensive balance. Utilize the diverse offensive weapons, including running back Trey Sanders and a talented receiving core to keep the Buffaloes defense guessing. Yeah, I think, obviously, that the more balanced team here is going to be TCU. And they're absolutely going to have not just passing, but running. And I don't know about keeping Colorado guessing so much as Colorado better prepare for it. Defensive line impact. The defensive front, led by Jamoy Hodge and Johnny Hodges, should aim to generate pressure under Shedeur Sanders and contain Colorado's run game, which I don't believe, as I've already stated. I don't think that's a focus. I don't see how, if it's a run-type, run-heavy game or even a balanced game, I don't know how Colorado will have a run game that can, well, I don't know how they're going to get over on TCU's defense of the run game. Secondary control. Rely on the experienced secondary featuring Josh Newton and safeties Mark Perry and Millard Bradford to limit Colorado's passing game and make crucial plays. Once more, experience over a completely new defense. I'm going to say that if TCU, if this is not one of their keys to victory, is more accurately, in my opinion, a key to not lose the game. Next, tempo and execution. Maintain control of the game's tempo, execute efficiently, and capitalize on opportunities to maintain momentum. Now, once more, it seems like the AI is simply stating what is extremely obvious about TCU here. By the way, if it's windy again, I apologize. It is, to this point, it is new, unproven, gonna have to air it out up against proven, seasoned, just maintain, should win the game. Okay, detailed score prediction says DonGPT. The game is likely to be competitive, with both teams showcasing improvements and new strategies. Colorado under Deion Sanders brings fresh talent and energy, evident in their fast-paced offense and revamped roster. TCU, on the other hand, boasts experience and depth along with the advantage of being familiar with the system. TCU's offense, led by Chandler Morris and backed by a talented receiving core, has the potential to exploit Colorado's defensive weaknesses. The Buffalo secondary, though talented, may face challenges containing TCU's passing attack. While Colorado's offense, led by Shedeur Sanders and supported by skilled playmakers, will strive to challenge TCU's defense, the Buffalo's offensive line may struggle against TCU's experienced defensive front. Ultimately, TCU's well-rounded team, depth and execution, should provide them with an edge. Well, I'm glad to see that I'm not alone in my thoughts on that. They can control the tempo of the game, make crucial plays on both sides of the ball, and capitalize on opportunities. While Colorado's improvements are evident, TCU's consistency, familiarity, and ability to adjust should secure them the victory. The final score prediction of TCU 31, Colorado 21 reflects TCU's ability to maintain control throughout the game and secure the win against a resilient Colorado team. That's kind of what I thought. So, you know, I said last night that I thought that Nebraska would lose in a close one. In fact, go back and watch my video if you want to. I'll just right here in the video right now, I'll put a clip here. I got to go with Minnesota on this. I think the game will be closer than Minnesota's going to want. It won't be close enough for Nebraska fans. I think it'll be a good game. And overall, I guess I kind of agree with ChatGPT here. We'll see how it goes. So here we go, video number 2, DonGPT. And it is Colorado versus TCU. In my humble opinion, you got TCU that should win, Colorado should not win, and a specific score, a 10-point victory, as suggested by DonGPT. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, if you think it's interesting and engaging and evocative and provocative and something with an "iv" at the end, if you like it, comment, hit the like thing, subscribe and share, hit the bonger or the buzzer or whatever you gotta do, and make sure that you share this video all over the web where there are people who are interested in Colorado, TCU, or just want to see some interesting content in a sea of mediocrity. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next video.